Welcome here. My name is Laura Gill. I'm the founder of the Attachment and Trauma Treatment Center for Healing. I'm delighted to have Catherine Howe here with us today. She's going to talk to us a little bit about trauma-sensitive yoga and some tips and strategies that we can use for promoting wellness during this time. So welcome, Catherine.
Hi, Laurie. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming. I know that one of the things we talked about is that a lot of people right now are sitting, they're on their computers, they're on technology a lot. There are a lot of areas where the body is holding tension. Are some practical tips and techniques that people can use to help tend to their body. So I was hoping that you might be able to share some information and some strategies that would be helpful for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know that myself, I'm at my desk most of the time now, this current climate where we're all at home and we're a society in general anyway, that's on their phones and looking down all the time. And even without this current climate that's happening right now, we're a society, I feel, that's rolled in, right? So our shoulders are down, our heads down, we're constantly looking at our phones, or we're like this on the computer. And I think it just, every, half an hour maybe, or every hour, whatever it is you can do, if you can just take some time to stretch, right? Being that rolled in society on our phones, looking down all the time, we've created such a lot of strength in our chest, really, and then openness in the back of our shoulders. So with the shoulders being rolled in, this pectoral muscle here has become super, super tight, and then we've become really open in our backs, which is not sometimes, I guess, is really good, but being too open, too overstretched, we're losing some of that strength at the same time, right? So the body needs that balance of strength and stretch, and our body has the capacity to do both if we place our focus. So a little tip for me sometimes is maybe I'll contract that muscle even more and allow it to open up and free up. So like that short muscle that's become super short, contract it even more, and then let everything breathe. So giving it a chance to contract and release will open up some space. The same with your breath, right? When we inhale, we know that our body opens up, and when we exhale, we know the body closes down. So we're trying to think about how can we bring that balance to the body. So I'll maybe do something as simple as just sit really tall, push myself back away from the computer, and then maybe take my arms behind my back and grab onto the chair so that I can really open up my chest and start to build some strength in the shoulders instead, and also bring some alignment and some posture back to your body. So, and maybe just doing that, a few times a day, if you're sitting at your desk all day, I find helps. And then bringing that breath and awareness of your breath into that practice as well, taking those nice deep inhales and really filling your body with that breath and nurturing your cells and everything like that. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And that's very easy to do and very practical to fit in for the therapists that are listening in, trying to build in some kind of movement between your appointments, for students that are on technology for learning. Like, I think we're sitting a lot right now, and we're compressed and, as you said, rolled in. So great.
We're coiled in, and it has an emotional effect on you too, right? You know yourself, like if you're rolled in and it makes you feel down just to be like that, right? So lifting everything up, lifting your smile, breathing at the same time, it has a huge, psychological effect, emotional effect on your body, right? We have that internal dialogue, right? We have that story that we tell ourselves all the time, and we can run it to the end without even knowing what that story was. We can just tell ourselves that story, right? So if that internal dialogue, if we're rolled in and at the same time we're like, oh God, I can't believe I'm at my desk all day today, I'm blah, blah, blah. It's all negative internal dialogue. It has that effect on your body too, right? So even something as simple as like doing that stretch, and then just affirmation, giving yourself that, changing that dialogue to positive dialogue, like I am strong, I'm open, I'm healthy, I'm grateful to be home with my family and safe. Just bringing that into your dialogue as well when you're doing those stretches can have that emotional and psychological benefit to your body, as well as the stretch and the strength,
Yeah, that is fabulous. That's a big part of the work that we do in our integrative trauma and attachment model. We use a lot of layering. And when I'm training therapists and other professionals, it's also teaching them that just even how we're posturing our body changes neurologically what's happening in our brain. And slouching, for example, is one that we often start with. And that one often brings about a sense of discomfort, right? And then we move into more open or strength-based postures, and it can really shift what we're feeling and thinking. But I
Mm-hmm.
also love the discussion that you made around noticing the thoughts that go with our body postures, because therapeutically, clinically, that's part of the work that we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Peter Levine, Pat Ogden,
Mm-hmm.
Janina Fisher, there are a lot of people that do some great work in that area, and I know you've done some
Yeah.
training there.
Yeah.
But we often will do that reverse action, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if the body coils in and there's negative thoughts that go with that, when we're doing the reverse action, we want to repeat that reverse
Mm-hmm.
action several times intentionally, and then look at changing that message and that internal dialogue. So beautiful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and that's with the trauma sensitive classes that I teach. That's the same thing too, right? It's allowing people to understand that it's okay to be uncomfortable, that it's a temporary situation, and in these classes, you're in control of that, right? So we'll move and layer slowly. We'll make the movements will be super slow. The breath will be controlled, so that when we have that moment of dis-ease, that discomfort, we know that we have our breath then to kind of ease us into that next layering process, or ease us into that posture, that pose that we're going to do, but knowing that we're in control of that. And if we want to, we can remove ourselves from it and then revisit it, but knowing that we're in that safe place and knowing that our breath is seeing us through that posture, but we have the control over it, right? So even something as simple as when you're doing your class, we're doing a pose and I can see people like they're super focused, so they get that knot here, the jaw starts to tighten, and they're really focusing on that pose because they really want to do it well, right? And something as simple as saying to them, like, why don't we just smile? Let's think about smiling right now. The endorphins increase throughout the body. It has a huge impact on their pose, right? Because they smile, they think, oh my gosh, like they smile and you can see their shoulders drop, you can see their jaw relax, and then you can see their body slowly slide into that pose, and their body accepts it because that dialogue has changed. That simple smile has changed the dialogue inside their head to say, I can do this. This doesn't feel uncomfortable anymore, but it's just that simple action of smiling that's changed everything.
Yeah, beautiful. And smiling, has been shown to break up anxiety and tension in the body. And it's such a simple, it doesn't have to be a big smile, even just, a soft smile or a gentle
Mm-hmm.
smile. You're just shifting it. And again, in doing that, you're sending a different message to your brain and
Right.
your nervous system.
Right. Because the body believes everything that the mind tells us, right? So it doesn't matter if you're saying something negative or positive. You don't have to believe the positive things that you're saying, but just say them anyway, right? The body's going to believe it, even though you might, in your head, you might not be. You might be thinking, I'm just like saying this for saying sake here, and I don't believe a word I'm saying. But doing it on a regular basis, and the more you practice that positive affirmation, that positive dialogue, the more your body's going to be willing to receive it and trust you, right? Your body has to trust you to be able to move into some of these poses. And in the trauma sensitive class, those poses are so slow that we can become even more uncomfortable in that situation. But it's about just letting them know that, the transparency and the trustworthiness, like allowing yourself to get to know yourself, trust yourself. Your body knows what it's doing. Don't interfere with that by telling it it can't do it,
Yeah,
right? So just
fabulous.
tell your body, I can do this, and just smile while you're doing it and have that impact your body in a positive way, right?
Yeah. And the point about affirmations is so valid. I worked years ago in eating disorders outpatient treatment, and trying to teach people how to use those affirmations around their body when they really didn't have that healthy relationship with their body. But what happens over time is, when we do practice that and there's an intentionality behind it, although it may feel awkward or uncomfortable or untrue at first, over time it shifts, right? And the opposite begins to
Mm-hmm.
feel uncomfortable or untrue.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something to that. Practice, the repetition, the intentionality, the conscious awareness, that is quite healing. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's an empowerness behind it, right? The empowerness of giving your body permission to let go. And that often, especially in yoga in general, happens with your breath, especially the exhale. The exhale is where your body is saying, oh, like, thank goodness, like I can just let go here, right? So you'll often find in a yoga class, whether it's trauma sensitive or not, when you exhale is usually where the pose is, you're like easing into or leaning into the pose, right? The inhale is opening everything up to allow you to ease into it, and that exhale is where you kind of let your body sigh and go, here I go, and I'm going to start to arrive into the position that's meant for me, right? It's not the picture perfect pose. It's not yoga perfect. It's yoga practice, right? So it's about allowing the pose to fit your body and not the other way around. So everybody's pose will look different, and that doesn't matter. It's whatever fits the availability of your body, and that's what I try to teach to my students. So
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
And how can people find you? So I'll post your email address at the end of our chat, but you're going to be running some classes in the future. So the
I
best
am. I'm
way.
in the process of setting up a NamaStream website where you can subscribe to classes on a regular basis virtually. But I'm in the process of just finishing up my trauma workshop, and that's probably going to be on there as well. So I can send you information as and when that becomes available. And if you'd like to share it, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, we'd be happy to share it. I think it's a great fit for the clients that we work with, and I'm really grateful for you, just sharing some tips and techniques today.
Thank you. And I do offer as well one-on-ones as well like this. So if somebody wanted to reach out to me on the email, I can set up a Zoom call or any type of whatever it is that they need. We can set that up. If they want to reach out to me on email, I'll be happy to do that.
Wonderful. Thanks again for your time today, and I wish you a gentle rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Namaste.
Namaste.